Time for war here inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, as it is officially rivalry week. And of course, that's what all the talk was about here today, as Ryan Day, Jim Knowles, and 5 Ohio State players met with the media. And I think probably the last of those interviews was probably the one that stood out the most, with Denzel Burke, a guy who is known to be a very confident player. And he certainly projected a lot of confidence that Ohio State's going to go out and get the job done on Saturday.
Yeah, I've never seen a player more locked in an interview, Dan, I don't think. I mean, the guy was just super intense and, like you said, just exuded confidence. I mean, it was funny to hear, someone asked him if he's going to enjoy playing the villain role on Saturday. He said, love it. Someone asked, what stands out about Michigan and on film, their offense? He says, nothing, and then elaborates a little more from there. But just like the quick nature of his answers and the confidence he projects and how locked in and intense you can tell he is this week, it kind of sets the tone for, one of the biggest rivalry games in the history of a very great rivalry.
I also appreciated Marvin Harrison Jr.'s answer when he was asked if it was like Christmas morning, and he said, Christmas is a little bit less stressful than this, but he's learned how to embrace the stress. And certainly, there's reason to be stressed this week. It is not hyperbole to say that the season is on the line on Saturday. It's going to determine a Big Ten East title. It's most likely going to determine a college football playoff spot. Obviously, Ohio State did make it after losing to Michigan last year, but with all the teams that are still in it right now, the likelihood of Ohio State getting in through a back door if it loses this game looks much slimmer than it was last year. And so everything's on the line. There's never going to be another Ohio State-Michigan game quite like this. There'll probably be another Ohio State-Michigan game where both teams are 11-0 and ranked this high in the country, but with the expanded playoff format in that year, we're probably going to already know both teams are making the playoffs. And so it really doesn't get any bigger than this, and you certainly get that feel being here inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center on Tuesday that this team is all business right now.
Right, and then you pile on top of those playoff and Big Ten implications the fact that Michigan has usurped Ohio State for control of the rivalry the past couple seasons, and Ryan Day talked about having scars today. You look at, obviously, all the sign-stealing allegations that have been circling around Michigan's program, them not having their coach taking in everybody versus us mentality, right? There's so much off the field that is then adding to the on-field implications of this game, and it's just, I cannot remember a game that I've seen, and I haven't had as long of an experience with Ohio State as others, being younger, but the game is bigger than any other that I have certainly been aware of, covered, whatever. And I think some of that was also reflected in just how tight-lipped Ryan Day and Jim Knowles were today. Not very much in terms of expanding on answers today from either of them, keeping it close to the vest going into this one.
And as you would expect, Ryan Day did not want to talk about sign stealing, Jim Harbaugh. No talk about that from anybody today. Ryan Day and Jim Harbaugh both taking the same tact. Harbaugh was asked Monday if he respected Ryan Day. Ryan Day was asked Tuesday if he respected Jim Harbaugh. Both of them avoided the question, which I think would tell you they probably don't have a whole lot of respect for each other, but neither of them wants to go out and say that and give the other team easy bulletin board material. And so certainly we really don't need a whole lot of bulletin board material for this one if we're being real. We don't need a whole lot of juicy quotes to intensify this one, because it really couldn't get any more intense. Something I thought about today, we talked to 5 players: Kyle McCord, Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka, Cody Simon, and Denzel Burke. None of them have ever beaten Michigan, because when Cody Simon was a freshman, that was the 2020 year when the game was canceled due to COVID-19. So the vast majority of this team is looking for its first pair of gold pants. And that you can take all the other stakes aside, just that in itself is enough to make this the most important week of the year for the Buckeyes.
Right, that probably hasn't been the case since the 90s, where the majority of an Ohio State team, or maybe the early 2000s, is looking for its first pair of gold pants. So that is a very interesting consideration there, Dan, and I think overall this is a game that really you don't have to sell. You don't have to put that extra weight on, but there's so much going into this. I can't wait to see how it unfolds Saturday. And continue talking about it and seeing how things unfold during the week.
Much more coverage to come on 11 Warriors. You can, of course, listen to Real Pod Wednesdays. On Wednesday, Andy and I will have a full hour of talking about this game and lots of articles to come leading up all the way to kickoff Saturday at noon, and then full in-game, post-game coverage coming on 11warriors.com. So we hope you join us there.